This video is about social and cultural capital. Before we define social and cultural capital, we first need to define economic and human capital. Economic capital refers to traditional forms of wealth like money, property, and other assets like prepaid expenses and inventory. Human capital, in contrast, refers to the formal knowledge, skills, and experience, particularly work experience, that someone has that they can then use to get more economic capital. People gain human capital through specific training and education. So for example, I could use the skills and experiences that I've gained as a graduate student to get a job in academia, whereby the more experience, skills, and degrees I have, the better my job will probably be. Now, both economic and human capital are valued in terms of how much wealth they can generate. It is assumed that the more money and skills you have, the more money you can ultimately make. These concepts are therefore important because they help us understand the distribution of wealth and resources in a given society. That being said, they don't provide us with a complete picture because our socio-economic status is influenced by things other than our wealth and our skill set. For instance, let's say that one of your parents is a fancy successful lawyer with lots of fancy successful lawyer friends, and they ask one of these friends to get you a paid internship at one of their law firms. If you accept, not only does this give you access to a paycheck, but it gives you access to valuable work experience that you could then use to get a job in the field of law, thereby increasing both your economic and human capital. In this scenario, you'd be using who you know, so your social connections, to get you access to money, work experience, and sellable skills. This is referred to as social capital. Another important type of capital is cultural capital. So where social capital refers to who you know, cultural capital describes what you know. To better understand this concept, let's imagine two hypothetical university students. Student A's parents are middle-class professionals with master's degrees, while student B's parents are working-class factory workers with no post-secondary education. Compared to student B, student A would probably have an easier time in university. This is because their parents would be able to provide them with the knowledge and schooling necessary to help them succeed. In contrast, not only would student B's parents lack the personal knowledge of what university is like, but it would be harder for them to access the social provisions and resources required to help foster their child's intellectual and academic growth, such as tutoring services or private schools. Student A would thus be more likely to acquire human capital when compared to student B, and therefore make more money. So in short, social and cultural capital refer to the kind of social networks and cultural knowledges you have that you can then use to get more economic and human capital. Unfortunately, because rich and successful people tend to know other rich and successful people, and they also tend to have greater access to social provisions and resources, social and cultural capital make it easier for those born into money to maintain or increase their wealth, while similarly making it more difficult for those with less money and resources to advance economically. So that's my video on social and cultural capital.